I'm going to be talking about Velvet Life. That product. These are the elk antlers. This is part of the traditional Chinese medicine for centuries and centuries. It's in the Materia Medica of the Chinese official, actually even the official book of herbal drugs of the government. It's very strong in Korea, of course. I mean, all Asia, they recognize the value of the antler. And most of Asia, the antlers, what they have is mainly from the deer. It's mostly the deer coming from Europe. The deer, there's 6 or 8 species. What we have here in Canada is really special because it's not deer, it's elk. It's the wapiti. It's unique of North America. It's unique of Canada. There's no other place in the world that have the same species, actually, except a cousin in Siberia. There's a cousin of elk in eastern Siberia. But this is unique. So, and I'll give you the advantage over deer and so on at the end of this. But classically speaking, in the Materia Medica of Chinese, the Chinese official book, it was used for important menstrual disorder, circulation problem, dizziness, vertigo, insomnia, migraine, and blood to speed the healing of wounds. It was also, this is missing here, but I'm going to talk about it. It was also a use for children, the growth, you know, to help the children that has problem in, yeah, go. Yeah.
因为刚才说了嘛，它是在生长期啊，在鹿茸的生长期把这个鹿。
Here I have it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have it in here. So children with growth problems to suffer from malnutrition. Yeah. So it's nothing new in the Chinese Materia Medica. For me, and for the people that initiate that company before, you know, and the Provet in Quebec, the use of the elk. We develop the product based on science. Of course, we respect the traditional Chinese medicine, so the idea was to have it with the Western and East and West to collide and to give this product. Now, this is an elk, of course, so it's different than a deer. It's much bigger. It's 9 feet. It's huge. And the antler, this is the end at maturity. You see? The antler is like almost a wood. And it can be much bigger than that. This is a small one, but this is calcified. At the end of fall, it calcified. And this is Marc Hébert, one of the owner of the farm that one day we can go and see. And this is the antler when it is in its growth phase. You can see here, this is where it attached to the head, the skull, the head, okay? And he won a competition in Colorado with this guy, and this is Marc Hébert. In Canada, he is the specialist. He is the best, he's the member, he's the founder of the association as a director. Anyway, he has a long CV on that, and we deal with him. So this is how it looks like when it grows, and this is when we have to harvest. You harvest that in June. They make 2 harvests, in June and July. No, May, I would say May and July. What happened to the elk, which is a very interesting thing of cervidae. The deer does that too, but I'll show you the difference. Every year, okay, he lose his, this fall down at around November. And then it start regrowing the end of winter and in spring. So you start regrow in April, in March, April, May, and it regrow fast. And it's the tissue among the animal world is the fastest growing tissue. It is very fast to grow like that in 3 months, 2 months. It's very fast. And this is why it's so interesting, because when it grows fast like that, it means there's a lot of growth hormones. And hormones that stimulate human-like growth hormones, testosterone, and so on and so on. And that's why it's providing a lot of nutrients for the body to kind of rejuvenate your body. And among those, testosterone is an important one.
Yeah, for this elk, so it's a wild elk or you raised the elk?
It's rice.
Raised by human? It's
Yeah.
Not wild in a
No, not wild, because it would be difficult to, you will have to control, with the government, you'll have to control the, I will explain to you, well, I can explain right away what is happening, what they do in the farm, okay, and what they do in New Zealand as well, because New Zealand is the big red deer, okay, and because I was talking with Frank and this guy, and because of the question you asked me.
Yes.
And those animals here, they're raised on the farm because it's totally controlled. And in Saint Narcisse, they have a big farm. I visited that, of course. And they do their own wheat or grass. They cultivate their own grass, and they feed the animal with their own grass and a little bit of grain, but not so much. So, but it's totally controlled. No GM, no antibiotics, no nothing. It's pure.
纯天然，还是纯天然，也就是说在纯养，但是还是纯天然，还是吃草，不是说吃料没有的，加一点 grain。
And it's controlled for disease, which you would have more difficulty in the wild. So it's perfect control. You do the same in New Zealand. They have to do that as well. You do the same.
因为这样，OK，国际活动方面的，因为现在呢，在中国市场呢，鹿茸产品最有名的就是新西兰，但是新西兰跟我们这儿没法比。首先它的鹿比我们，他们是普通的鹿，叫 deer， 我们叫 elk， 不是一个品种，而且它没有我们这么好。但是问题是我们没人推呀，没人知道这个东西啊。这就是为什么我们要站起来，要向世界告诉我们这是唯一的。他刚才说了，我们这个鹿只有加拿大有，或者是西伯利亚有，西伯利亚有一点点，但只有我们这儿有啊，所以这就是我们机会了，独特性。
Now, an important thing. So that becomes an industry. There is farm. So this is a big farm in Quebec. There's many other farms. There is some in Alberta. There's a lot in Canada. There's a little bit in U.S. as well. But these guys, they deal with the other farms as well. So in terms of supply chain, we're more than okay. Now what they do with this is that every year, so they harvest when it's in the growing phase. And often with the help, the chance is that compared to the deer is just one. The deer, it goes long, not as fast. So, and it's not as big. It's one third of the size of this guy for each deer. So in terms of price ratio or efficient ratio, it's less with the deer than the elk. First of all, this elk is growing so fast that they cut in June or at the end of May, June, and they can do, it will regrow, and in July they will cut again. They'll do two harvests.
Two times,
which they cannot do with the deer. This is their business. The other business they have with the female, of course, they try to get the babies, you know, and to generate more and so on. This is not a problem. But and this is good for 7-8 years. They repeat that cycle 7-8 years with one animal. After that, the animal is, I think the lifespan is maybe 13-14 years, something like that. But after the 7-8 years, when it starts to be old, they're used for hunting or for the meat. Mainly the female, they would be used then for the slaughterhouse and then meat. There is meat, wapiti is very good, very tasty, very good wapiti. Yeah, so they have that. Yeah, and for the male, they let them, after when they get old, they let them, the panache grow and grow and grow, and they're used for hunting. So they ship them into a zec. In Quebec, there's many zec, and very rich men from Europe and the US, maybe China, they come here, they are invited and to hunt the male, and they are guaranteed of hunting. This is big business for them because it's very expensive, and they come out with them the big panache they got back. So three just the male.
Just the male, right?
No, not the female.
So female, no.
Female is to give the baby. No antler.
对，
Just the male.
只有没有角的。
or they might have small antler. Anyway, these are the part of the antler, so from the head to the top. So this is the lower part, this is where there is the most calcium, so it starts calcifying from the head top. And this is in the middle. It's mainly used in arthritis treatment because what? It has a lot of chondroitin and glucosamine and collagen. It's very rich in those products that I was talking to you. Very rich. And on top is the growth hormones. It's very rich because it drives the growth from the top down. It drives. So the growth hormones are mainly here. And well, they use it as a tonic for children, but not only children, for human and things like that. Like when we're talking about impotence or sexual libido, for example, this is a great product for that because it stimulates the hormones that drive sexuality, if you want. So these are the. But in our case, we use a mix of pretty much everything. We could always separate, but we use everything because in the capsule because it's a good product for it. You have to be careful because the experience of these previous owner of Vivero, they sell a lot with the Koreans and the Chinese in the past and things like that. And what they saw in the Chinese market, there's been a lot that they were, unfortunately, in the market, a lot of the powder that is sold is the mature antler. And the mature antler doesn't have anymore the growth hormones. It's only calcium. So this is an advantage. We control the quality to make sure that we have the right product that's going to be doing the right thing. So I don't want to go into much detail. There's a lot about the biochemical and composition that's been studied. And the pharmacological effect, well, as we know, by science, we know that it's a tonic, stimulating anti-inflammatory, anti-arthritis, accelerate the growth and cell regeneration, stimulate the release of growth hormones, anti-stress, anti-tumoral, cardiovascular.
Anti-tumoral? Are you sure? Anti-tumoral?
Well, because of...
抗癌的.
Yeah. It has some activity of anti-tumoral. Okay. It might be only in vitro. Now, in terms of clinical, I say no. You don't have clinical assay. But it has some anti-tumoral activity. There's many things we have anti-tumoral activities. The growth factor is mainly the IGF-1. This is an important one for precursor of... So, in conclusion, the benefits, it's rich in mineral proteins. It has several therapeutic virtues, as we say, as we've seen, like the symptom for arthritis, improved blood circulation, oxygenation, the energy, stamina, concentration, stimulate growth hormone, like IGF-1, inhibit free radical responsible for aging tissue and cell. The anti-tumor activity will come from this free radical activity, actually, James. Improve tonus, muscle tonus and recovery, stimulate libido, and the prevention of osteoporosis. Of course, because of the chondroitin sulfate, of the glucosamine, which are important for the bones and cartilage. How to sell the Wapiti Pure, or Helk, or Velvet Life, if you want in French, Vivero, Velvet Life. Well, you can say it's, you have ginseng. Ginseng is the plant that is an adaptogen that help stimulate, giving you energy and vitality and things like that. Well, in the animal world, antler would be kind of the same as the ginseng. Instead of coming from the ground, it's coming from the head of the animal. And that's why it will have those impact with the human metabolism because of the growth hormone. Okay, it's highly concentrated and active element, naturally blended all together. So you don't need to get one element there, one element there, one element. It's all together with the extract. The growth hormone precursor has an effect on metabolism, and the quality of the source of the Wapiti. It's the optimal harvesting, as I told you, time providing the best potential. This has been studied and harvested in the same way. The Wapiti farm is the best natural condition. No hormone, no antibiotic, no GMO, etc. in usage. Naturally feed, and it's a source that you can trust. It's a Canadian quality product. It's an NPN product. Now, making a difference with the red deer, okay, to give you more arguments about this. Because the red deer antler it's not bad. It's good also. I mean, it has the, it's growing, things like that. Except that it's 1/3 of the size of the elk antler. Okay? The deer will calcify faster, okay, than the elk antler. And so the harvesting time is more short. The quality source, of course, okay, we can harvest twice a year. And again, I'm putting the emphasis on the fact we have full control of the product here. That means we have in control, they have at the farm, and the people who provide the supply. This is very important to make sure we have a control, they have a control. You're gonna have a control on that. So it's all together partnership in terms of getting out there the best product, a product that works. Okay, Krilex, the ocean heating power. These are the pill, and that's coming from the Krilex. Krilex is a little shrimp like that, no bigger than this. That's the food for the whales. Okay, the whales with their big fanons, that's what they use. And this is a swarm of a krill. How do I stop this? Anyway, I will just come back.
这是无数的磷虾组成的，很小很小的。
Presentation more. Yeah,
Can you,
like that, just like that.
Okay. Okay, sorry about this. Is that clear enough for you, this? Yeah. Because I didn't realize it was a presentation mode. I thought I'd copy only the slide anyway. So one capsule contains about the equivalent of 12 krill. I'll show you that krill is a very rich nutrient animal that exists. As like the antler is the fastest growing tissue that exists in the biological world, this is a primitive. It's not at the end of the cycle of.
生物链的顶端是生物链的最底端，就生物链的最底端的那个。
It's a zooplankton. It's at the beginning of the chain of. Okay, so it's pretty pure if you want. It doesn't. It's not as contaminated like tuna, for example, which is a hand predator that accumulate heavy metal things like. And it's studied for looking at any contaminant. So this is interesting, and this contains so many rich nutrients. We're going to look into that. So this is the swarm of the krill. So when they harvest in Euphausia pacifica on the western coast, it's a species that is coming from the west coast of Vancouver or in Japan, all the northern part, all this part of the ocean. It's rich in that species. This is a species of choice. This is the species we decided to use. A lot of the krill oil is using Antarctica that has been harvested in the Antarctic. It's a bigger species and things like that. When you look at this, there's a little bit difference. It's a bit richer here in hexaxanthin and some element. But, I mean, I'm not going to go into detail of the biology of this. What is important to know?
Page down.
Yeah, page down. Well, first of all, the product description. So Krilex is the whole krill. It's not oil krill. It's not krill oil. It's the whole krill. So it's everything that we use from the krill. So what we do, we harvest from the boat at night, and usually the harvest is done in fall, in November. It's very cold, but the fisherman goes out there, they have a special net, and they harvest the swarm of this krill at night. So it's a fishing that has to be done at night, because the krill goes down deep in during the day, and at night it goes up, and then they harvest. And they freeze it right away on the boat. And it's sent by freezing transport up to here in Montreal. And we keep it frozen until we use it at the end. At the end, we cut it into small pieces and we lyophilize it. We freeze dry under vacuum. We use a vacuum that is equivalent of the space vacuum to freeze dry. What does that do, especially for the krill? Instead of heating and drying, because we want to dry, we want to get out of water. Krill, like human thing, is about 80% water, 70-80% water. We want to bring the water down to about 14-15% to dry. What it does, it conserve itself for a long time. We can conserve that for 10 years or more. So this is very, and we keep at the same time, because the way it's been, we keep all the nutrients, all the vitamins, the minerals, the protein, the enzyme are kept alive doing that. You just need to rehydrate and this. So this is interesting because we use all the benefit of the different nutrients of the oil krill. When you have the oil, you only have two things, well, in fact, three things. The oil, in fact, in the form, but it's omega-3, which is a very interesting. So you have a lot of omega-3 in the krill, more than omega-6 and 9, but a lot, which is a very good source of omega-3, in the form of triglycerides and phospholipid. It might not tell you a lot, but the type of oil that is in the krill, it's good for the brain. Not only for the heart, but good for the brain. We'll see that. But this guy here, Krilex, which is unique in the world. We are, I think, there might be another company that has that, but they're low profile. But it's pretty much unique for a long, long time, and we still are unique. We are the only company who offers that, and as a supplement, all krill. And without pesticide, of course, and all these toxin preservative. This is important. It's integral krill freeze-dry, encapsulated for human consumption. Okay? Oh yeah. Now, what makes oil krill so highly nutritious? We have copper. It's very rich in copper, iodine, omega-3, and selenium. These are monographed by Health Canada. But of course, it has much more components. You know, amino acid, rich in collagens, marine or collagen, or, you know, it's not fish because it's not a fish, but it's marine collagen. And the oligoelements, antioxidant, minerals, protein, vitamins, and omega-3, of course. And all those vitamins here, which are very important, B12. B12 is with iodine, it's very, very important for the blood, making oxygenation in blood. Because you need iodine for your growth hormones, for example, and to give energy. This is a metabolic pathway. And the vitamin B12 to stimulate the formation of red blood cells. Don't take EPO, take that. Take that, because with rich vitamin B12, you're going to stimulate the blood. That's why it's one of, well, antler also is rich in that too. Trace element and so on and so on. So, 70% is protein, of course. Now, the active digestive enzyme. I want to put some emphasis on this because it's very important. You know, when we saw the little shrimp there, this krill, in the thorax here, there's a lot of enzyme in body. When the krill dies, okay, it releases those digestive enzymes. It autolyses. It destroys itself. Okay. Now, of course, we kept it. We kept it freeze dry, and so it doesn't. But the enzymes are still there, and these enzymes are enzymes that will cut the lipids, will cut the protein, will cut the carbohydrate, and those enzymes are essential for us. It helps our digestion. It helps to digest our nutrients. So you take the pills of the krill at the same time as you have a meal. You know, take 2-3 pills, and you get a better digestion, a better uptake of your nutriments from your meal with those enzymes. This is interesting. That's why our technique of freeze dry keep that active. And of course, it's rich in omega-3, the EPA and DHA, of course. Now, in the whole krill, because the question was asked from James some time ago, because he had experience with the oil, the krill, the oil, which is very rich, of course, in those omega-3. The oil krill would not, of course, the oil is 100% oil, but the krill in that species of Physa pacifica contain about 18% of the mass. You saw 70% protein, but about 18% is omega-3. okay, or the lipids. So it's still a good source of the lipid for those who want to have lipid, okay? But it's not only just lipid, it's the enzyme and all the minerals and vitamin that you saw before. And very, very important, you know, the pink color, the orange pink color that you find in those shrimp, krill, and the salmon and the trout, things like that. In fact, the salmon and the trout, they have this pink color because mainly of the mainly because of the zooplankton, because they're carnivore fish and they eat a lot of the krill, and that's why they got this color, because they absorb this. This is a pigment, as Alexandre said. That's what gives the pink color, and that's because the salmon and the trout eat those and they got this color, among other things, of course. And this is a very potent antioxidant. Antioxidants, we need that. We need that.
Antioxidant 就是抗癌，就是抗氧化嘛。抗氧化，人为什么得癌症？氧化，机体氧化，抗氧化就是抗癌，所以这就是个好东西。
This is 500 times as active as vitamin E as a kind of standard antioxidant. 500 times more. It's in the animal world, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the strongest antioxidant you can find in the animal world. Okay, and that's why when you talk about antioxidant, you talk about prevention of a lot of chronic disease, and even cancer and things like that. Okay, so this is a very interesting. That's why it's very rich in antioxidant in this. Could be a smart solution for those who doesn't consume fish or very little fish. Take the pill. Take those pills as well. That could be. Now, key components and the metabolic role. Of course, the omega-3. As soon as you talk omega-3 fatty acid, it's good for the brain. It's good for the heart and the cardiovascular system, because the problem in our Western civilization, I would say, in our food, the habit that we eat now, people are getting better and better. We have too much omega-6 and 9. We eat too much meat from the cow, from pig, and so on, and not enough fish. And because we have an imbalance and not enough vegetable, now people are getting more and more concerned, and there's a disequilibrium between those, and that we think it doesn't help the inflammation and the cardiovascular disease and dementia and the brain and things like that. So we need to increase our omega-3 lipid consumption to balance, and that will have an effect and impact on the brain and on the heart, the health. So healthy heart, you need that. So this is where Krilex will help you. Of course, the digestion, as we say, with the enzyme, the oligoelements and minerals for energy and stimulation, iodine, vitamin B12. In summary, if you had to take a take-home message with this, energy, protection, nutrition, this is what it does. So for vitality and energy, I would say vitality, the antler, the elk antler. For energy, Krilex. But this is the surf and turf. You have the sea, you have the best of the sea, you have the best of the land with the Vidvelo, Velvet Light, and Krilex. Okay? So again, this. So, again, is the ocean eating power of the sea. This is why those guys, the strongest animal that exists on the planet, that's what they eat. This little shrimp, this little krill. It's not only good for the whale, it's good for us. Well, it's the serum collagen. Now, the same principle as I was talking to you about Supreme, ingestible for pain and healing your connective tissue, your joint. The same with that you have Medilate going with this, okay, as a topical. With Neutral Collagen for beauty, as a topical product, you have the Serum Collagen. So Serum Collagen is topical, and maybe you can pass it around so that people can have, you know. Now, at the beginning, you will see it's a bit sticky. You just because it's based on water, okay? And it's pure collagen with hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and there is some product coming from a bark, pine bark, that is strong antioxidant. So, it smells good, eh? Now, at the beginning, it's a bit sticky, and about in 1 minute, you will feel like it's penetrate the skin, and it's like velvet. It's like if you have a velvet on your skin. So what it does, it stimulates the skin regeneration, helps in, of course, attenuate the wrinkles. So from now outside in, Nutra inside out, this one is outside in, 25 increase skin elasticity. That's what you're going to feel. You'll feel that.
How you feel?
Water-based, active ingredient.
Smoother? Yeah.
It's about in 1 minute, you'll see. So you put it, of course, in your face. You put it before going to bed. So usually it's more for women, I would say, but some men are using it. You know,
Yeah, I use sometime.
I saw in Asia, in the airport, I'm sure you've seen that. You go in those fancy stores now, there is more and more company that are giving cosmeceutical product for men. I was surprised. Well, it's been a long time I haven't been in China or in Asia, but now it's more and more popular among younger people, not old people like me, or maybe James, but now it's more and more democratic, if you want. It's young men are starting to use those kind of product as well. So we're planning on developing special product for men, you know, a series of product for men. But yes, for the moment, indeed, it's more for women. So for women, in the morning before you put your makeup, you do put, you know, and you just massage and like that. You let it dry, and it will become like velvet, things like that. And then you do your makeup. So maybe the first thing in the morning you do that, because it penetrates in the pore of the skin, and it does the action there. It does a biological action. And at night, of course, after you clean up your face, after they remove all the makeup and everything, then you put it. So you can put it in the morning and at night.